we were discussing in the last class about the assignment operators, right? So anybody has doubt in this regard? Any doubt? Any doubt in this regard? If you have doubt, you please post in a chat window. Okay, fine. Let us move to the next topic. That means, so arithmetic operators over, assignment operators over. Then we'll move to the comparison operators, right? So this is important for writing the programs, because so we may need to check different conditions. So let us see what are all the different. Yes, one question, sir. Last 5. Again, I need to repeat last 5. Okay, fine. Repeat it. So this last 5 means the logical operators, right? So here, this indicates ampersand equal to means the value of x gets ANDed with 3, and the result will be showed in x. So that logical AND operation is performed between the x and 3. So similarly, this is OR operation. Logical operation is performed between x and 3, and the result will be showed back into the x. So here it is XOR operation. So similarly, between x and 3, XOR operation is performed and it is stored back into the x. And this is right shift. So the value of x means all the bits are right shifted by 3 positions. Okay, and the result will be showed in the x. So here it is left shift. Instead of right shift, it will be left shift, right? So already we have seen the programs here in the last class. So let me open the program. Assignment operators. So everyone able to see this program? Right. So here, I hope these things are clear now. Only this AND operation is required, right? Right. So here, what we are doing is, we are doing x value we have taken as 5, right? And we are doing AND operation. X ampersand equal to 1 means, so what exactly the meaning of this? The x value. What is the x value? 5. 0, 1, 0. 5 means its binary value is 0, 1, 0, 1, right? Gets AND operation with 1. 1 means it is 0, 0, 0, 1, right? So now what is the truth table of AND truth table? Let me open the truth table of AND gate, logic gates. Okay. Now see here, AND gate is having 2. Like if it is 0, 0, if the bit is 0 and 0, first bit is 0, second bit is 0, then the output will be 0. 0, 1 output is 0. 1, 0 output is 0. For 1, 1 output is 1, right? So that means AND gate will give the output only when both the inputs are equal to 1. Okay, I'll tell you. Sorry, here many candidates are having class, not student of any NST. Okay, right? One. So here what happens? Now let us go back to our program. This is the truth table. Now here 0, 1, 1 output is 1. So 0, 0 output is 0. 1, 0 output is 0. Again 0 and operation with 0 output is 0. So the answer is 0, 0, 0, 1. That means it is 1. 0, 0, 0, 1 means it is 1, right? So similarly OR operation. So OR operation between, now x value I have taken as 5, and this time I'm doing OR operation with 2, right? So x value and 2 both are gets OR operation right? And the result is stored back into X. So 5 means 0, 1, 0, 1, OR operation. 2 means 0, 0, 1, 0, right? So now in OR operation, if you see the truth table of OR gate, okay. So if it is 0, 0, output is 0. If one of the input is 1, then the output is 1, right? If both the inputs are 0, then only the output is 0. If any one of the input is 1 or both the inputs are high, means the output will be high. So that is the functionality of OR gate. So here let us examine the same functionality here. So 1, 0. So here 1, 0 means it is 1. Then 0, 1 means 1. Okay, again 1, 0, it is 1, right? 0, 0, output is 0. So now 0, 1, 1, 1 means it is the equivalent decimal value is 7. Okay. Then similarly XOR operation. Okay, so XOR operation. Now I'm doing it. I have taken the X value as 5 and I'm doing X with XOR operation with 3. So what is the value of X? So 5 means 0, 1, 0, 1. So 3 means 0, 0, 1, 1. So the XOR truth table. Oh, sorry, I'll not share the program. No? Right. Okay. Right. So now let us come to the XOR operation. Here 0, 1, 0, 1, 5, and 3 means it is 0, 0, 1, 1. Right. So now if you see the XOR gate, what is the functionality of the XOR gate? If both the inputs are equal, the output is 0. Here also both the inputs are equal, output is 0. If both the inputs are not equal, unequal, then the output is 1. That is the functionality of XOR gate. If both the inputs are equal, whether it may be 0 or 1, the output will be 0. If both the inputs are not equal, right, either 0, 1 or 1, 0, the output will be 1, right? So same logic will apply there. Okay. So here 1, 1, both the inputs are equal, na? So the output will be 0. 0, 1. So unequal input, so output will be 1. So 1, 0. Again unequal inputs, output will be 0. 0, 0. Again, now this time it is same input, so it is 0. So 0, 1, 1, 0 means the decimal value is 6. Answer will be 6 here. Okay. What is the use of these operator? Question. Next operator. Okay, I'll answer. We'll go to the next. So now coming to here, x value equal to 5. Now we are making right shift. By 1 bit. So what is the value of 5? 0, 1, 0, 1. So if we make right shift, every bit will be shifted right. Now this 1 will, actually this 0 will shift here. This 1 will shift here. That means 4th position bit will come to the 3rd position. And 3rd position will go to 2nd position. 2nd position will go to 1st position. And the 1st position bit will be get lost. Okay. And the last position, it will fill 0. Right. So that means, now if you want to understand clearly, so I'll explain here. I'll explain in the notepad. So that is 0, 1, 0, 1, right? So now after shifting, what happens now? After shifting, this 4th position bit, okay, first this position bit get lost. Right shifting means it is getting lost. Right shifting 1 position. That means this is shifting to the right and there is no position, so it will be lost. So then what will be the last bit? This bit will come to 1st position. So the first bit will be 0 and the next bit will be 1. Sorry, 1. The next bit will be 0. Right? And the last bit will is last. So here the last bit 0 will be added here. So it is 0, 0, 1, 0. Yes. Okay, so now that's the reason we are getting 0 0 1 0. That means simply see here, we are shifting right now, shift every bit by one position, so the last bit will be lost. That means it will be dropped down. Okay, and similarly left shift. So in the left shift, instead of shifting right, we will shift it to left. So now every bit will be shifted to left. This will come to the third position, this will come to the second position, this will come to last fourth position. Okay, and this will be dropped down, and the last a 0 will be added here. Okay, so that means this bit will be lost, only this will be there here. To make 4, last 0 will be added here, 1 0 1 0. So it is 1 0 1 0 means equivalent decimal value is, okay, another value, right. So I'll do one thing, I'll do 1 0 1 0, right? Sorry, I will take 10. 10 means 1 0 1 0, right? Now what happens here? So every bit will be shifted to right. So now this bit will be lost, and the remaining 3 bits are 1 0 1 1 0 1, and the last position 0 will be added. Okay, so now 0 1 0 1, it is answer is 5. Okay, and if you take here again, I am taking 10 here. Okay, 10 means what is the equivalent value? 1 0 1 0, right? So every bit is shifting to the left, and the last leftmost bit will be dropped down. Leftmost bit dropped down means this bit will be dropped down. What is the remaining value? 0 1 0, and the last 0 will be added. That empty position 0 will be added. Okay, so now the value is 4. 0 1 0 0 means 4. Okay, now save it. If I run here now, okay, so what is that? 1 minute, let me see the program. The answer will be from here, right? We are doing from, we are seeing from here now, and operation 7 6 7 6, sorry, 1 7 6 5, sorry here one will be dropped down. Okay, where is that? So I'll run it, not this one. Okay, so I'll run this. Okay, 1765, this is 20, it is coming. Okay, the last value, okay, this 1765, and this left shift na, so that let me check it. It is 20 is coming, right? We gave 1 0 1 0 na, right? So we are shifting to the left, so everybody is shifted down. So 0 1 0, again 0 will be added here, so it is 4 only. Okay, so why it is coming now? So generally the compiler is taking all zeros here, because these things are there na. I mean, generally we are taking only 4 bits, but it will take, depending upon the processor, it will take the number of bits. Of course it may be 16-bit processor, 32-bit processor. So here what is happening is, now when we are shifting here, this one will go to the 5th position, this one will go to 5th position, this will come, this 0 will come to 4th position, this one will come to 3rd position, so this 0 will come to 2nd position, and the 1st position one more 0 is added. Now if you convert this to the binary, so its value is 20. Now this value is 20. If you want, you can do like I think you may be knowing the conversion. Na? I'll open the conversion. Google. Binary. So I'm giving binary value 10100. It is 20, right? Of course, you can do like that also, but I don't want to discuss about that manual thing, because if I discuss again, we have to divert to the number system conversion. That's the reason I'm not discussing. I'm using this converter. Okay. Right. Fine. I hope this is fine, na? Yes, sir. Please explain 0 and 1. Logic 0 and 1. What logic 0 and 1? Okay. And previously somebody, Kumkum Singh, he has asked what is the difference between slash and double slash. So slash will do only the division operation. This will do only the division operation. So 5 by 3 it is 1.667. So double slash will do division. After doing the division, only it will round the result to down value. That means 5 by 2 it is 2.5, right? So but it will round to floor. Floor means lower value, that is 2.5. The fractional part will be removed, it will be rounded to 2. The answer will be 2 here. That is the difference. So binary number 0 and 1. Okay, hope it is clear, right? Let us go to our PPT now. Okay, so now these assignment operators are cleared, right? And if anyone have further doubts in the assignment operators, you just ping me like after the class, you just WhatsApp message, do the WhatsApp message to me, I will explain, right? Okay. Then the comparison operators. So this comparison is very important, because we may need to come across in every program, we may need to come across some condition where we need to compare the two different values or multiple values, right, to take the decision. So for that purpose, these comparison operators are very much useful, right? So now let us open the program of comparison operators. Okay, this is a simple program. This is a simple program of comparison operator. Can you expect the result from this? What will be the result? So here, what it will do is, so here equal to, this will do the given operator. Now x equal to y we are giving. So that means it will compare x, whether x value and y value is equal or not. If it is equal, it will return true. Otherwise, it will return false. So not equal. So it will compare x and y whether both are not equal or not. If both are not equal, it will return the true. And if it is equal, it will return the false. And this is the greater than. Of course, this we know very well. X and y will be compared, whether the x is greater than y or not. If the condition is true, it will return the answer as true. Otherwise, it will return as false. So then similarly, less than. If x is less than y, it will return true. Otherwise, it will return false, right? So here greater than or equal to, similar to greater than. Of course, here only greater than, whether the x is greater than or not, greater than y, are only comparing. If both are equal, so this means this will compare both, whether x is greater than or equal to y or not. Okay, similarly, this is less than or equal to y or not, it will be compared. So the overall, like summary, these comparison operators will return either true or false. The result it will give either true or false. Okay, when it will give true, if the specified condition is satisfying, then it will give the true. If the specified condition is not satisfying, it will return false. That's all. Okay, so that is what we are going to see in our program. Okay, now here I have taken the x value as 5. Okay, and y value as 3. X value is 5 and y value as 3, right? So now first I am comparing whether, now here print x equal to y. Remember, we have to keep two equal to, comparison operator. If you want to compare both the operands are equal or not, for that you need to use double equal to. If you use single equal, that will become assignment operator. Okay, that means that will assign the value. So here x value is 5, y value is 3. Whether the this condition is what it will print. So x equal to y. That means x and y are not equal. So this condition is not satisfying. Not satisfying means it will return false. Okay, false. So then here in the second step, in the second thing, we are doing not equal to. Okay, so that means x not equal to y. Whether this condition is true or false. Yes, it is true because x value is 5, y value is 3. Both are not equal. So it will return true. Then whether x is less than y, x value is 5, y value is 3. So x is not less than y. The condition is not satisfying. So it will return false. So x value is 5, y value is 3. Whether x is greater than y, yes, the condition is satisfying. So the value is, it will return true. Whether x less than or equal to y, no. X value is 5, y value is 3, which is not less than 3, not equal to 3. So it is false. So whether x is greater than or equal to y, yes, x is greater than y. Okay, so here we are comparing two conditions, whether it is greater than or equal. If any one of the condition is satisfied, then it will return the true. Here x value is 5 now, y value is 3. So x is greater than y. So this greater than condition is satisfied, so it will print true. Okay, now if you run this, first save the program, right? See here, false, true, false, true, false, true. Okay, same thing is there na? False, true, false, true, false, true. Right? So of course, this is very simple thing, but why I'm discussing means once if we start this conditional statements or loops, some advanced programs, again there you should not confuse what is true, what is false, when it will be satisfied, when it will not be satisfied. That's the reason I'm discussing this also. Okay, any doubts here? Right, fine. So now let us go back to our PPT. So this is about comparison operators. Okay. Now let us go to the next program and next operators, that is logical operators. Okay, logical operators. So these logical operators, okay, in some cases we may need to test two different conditions. That means, for example, now in some scenarios, when I am implementing some real-time scenario where we have light and fan. Okay, so if light is on, fan is on, then I have to take the decision, right? Or otherwise, generally, if you take a real kind of a thing means two sensors like now I'm taking one room, one hall. So there I am going to count number of persons present in that particular hall. Okay, so number of persons present in that particular hall. So how we can say number of persons present in that particular hall? Because at the entry gate we will put one sensor, and at the exit gate we will put another sensor. Okay, So the sensor and the sensor which is placed at entry gate will count number of persons entering into the hall, right? And the sensor which is placed at the exit gate will count the number of persons leaving from the hall. Okay. So if I subtract number of persons entered minus, if I do number of persons entered minus number of persons exited from the hall, so I'll get number of persons present in the hall now. So in that case, so I have to write the condition for wherever I'm writing the condition. So I have to write condition for one entry sensor and one exit sensor. Okay, so that means the two conditions I have to check before telling. Okay, now 10 members are there in the hall, so I have to take the entry sensor value and exit sensor value. Okay, so for that purpose, that means this logical operators will be useful if you want to work with more than one condition. Okay, so here we have three logical operators, and or not. Okay, so of course, and means here the two conditions, x is less than 5 and x is less than 10. So that means if these two conditions are true, this condition is true and this condition is true, then only that entire condition will be true. So returns true if both the statements are true. If both the specified statements are true, then only it will return the true. Okay, so or means if any one of the statement is true, then it will return the true. Okay, so that we'll see programmatically. And not means it will reverse the result. That means reverse the result. If result is true, then it will reverse it to false. Okay, so let us see the program. If you see the program, then you can understand easily. Okay, it is logical. See here, I have taken the a value as 5, right? Now here I'm taking the two conditions, whether a is less than 8, yes or no. Yes, a value is 5, which is less than 8, and one more condition is whether a is greater than 3. Yes, a value is 5, it is greater than 3. So that means this condition is true and this condition is true. When both the conditions are true and true, that means 1 and 1. We have seen the logic gate now. If both the inputs are 1, then the output will be 1. That means the condition will be, the answer will be true here. Now what will be the answer here? True, right? Okay, now here another condition I'm testing with R. Whether a less than 8, yes, a less than 8, this condition is true. And another condition is whether a is greater than 10, no, this condition is false. That means here this condition is true and this condition is false. So one is true and one is false. Even though any one of the condition is true, the output will be true. The OR gate output will be true. So this answer will be true. Okay. Now see here, the same condition we have used here, a greater than 8, a less than 8, or a greater than 10. But we are making not. Not means we are reversing the result of this. What is the result of this? True. We are reversing means we are making it as false. Okay. Okay. Right. Now let us run the module, save it. So answer will be true, true, false. So answer will be true, true, false. Okay. Any doubt here? So for example, if I make this as 9, can you guess the result? What will be the result? And this I will make less than. Can you guess the result? Okay, logical operator, right? So the logical operator is used to test two conditions. If you want to make anywhere, if you want to make two conditions to be tested, right? So then we will use the logical operators. So we have the three logical operators: and, or, and not. And we are seeing the functionalities of and, or, not. Okay. Here we have taken the a value as 5, right? And we are doing comparison here. So whether a is less than 8, yes, a value is 5, 5 is less than 8. This condition is true, right? True. And what is the next condition? A greater than 9. Whether a is greater than 9, a value is 5, 5 value is not greater than 9. So this condition is false, right? This is true and this is false. That means true means 1, false means 0. If we give 1, 0 to the AND gate, what will be the answer? Output? It is 0, right? If you give 1, 0, the answer will be 0. 0 means it is false. Okay, right? Then next condition, whether a is less than 8, yes, a is less than 8, true, this condition is correct, true. And whether a is less than 10, yes, this is also true, a value is 5, 5 is less than 10, this is also true. So this is true and this is true, and we are doing OR operation. In OR gate, what happens? If both the inputs are 1, true means 1, true means 1, 1, 1, the output will be 1. So the answer will be true. Okay. So now in the third case, of course, this we have taken same thing we have taken, right? Whether a is less than 8, yes, a is, I'm taking a less than 10, yes, true or true. That means 1 or 1. Answer will be 1. That means this bracket value will be true, right? And we are doing not operation. Not operation means if 1 is there, 0 will give. If you give 0, then it will give 1. That means whatever you are giving, reverse to that it will give. So now here I am giving what I am giving? True I am giving. So it will give false. So the answer will be false, true, false, right? Yes, true means 1, false means 0. False, true, false, right? Hope it is clear to everyone. Still no? Okay. What is your doubt, Bhavana madam? Yes. And means if both the specified conditions are true, then only it will give true. Remaining all condition, it will give false. Okay. Or means if any one of the condition is true, then it will give true, right? When it will give false, if both the conditions are false, then only it will give false. Now for example, here I'll write a greater than 8 and a greater than 10. Now here what happens? Both the condition, a is not greater than 8. Yes, false this is. This is also false. So false, 0 or 0. It will give false now. False. Okay. All conditions false. Sorry, hope it is okay. All conditions are false here. Okay, fine. So now I hope it is clear na, Bhavana madam. And operator, if the two statements are true, then only it will give return true. Otherwise, correct. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Hindi language. Okay. So abhi will be repeat karenge. Right. Now let us go to the PPT. So logical operator. Okay. So now after the logical operator, identity operator. Right. So identity operator. What is the identity operator? Okay. So identity operators are used to compare the object, not if they are equal. Remember here, it will compare the objects not whether they are equal, but if they are actually the same object with the same memory location. Right. So what is meaning by object? What is the meaning of object? Okay. So this now I'll explain what is object before going to discuss further. Let us have the discussion. Okay. Hope everyone is saying this one. Yes, fine. Paint. I opened Paint. Yes. So generally, now for example, I am writing a equal to 10. Okay, a equal to 10. So the moment when you write, one object will be created in the memory. That means operating system will allot some amount of resource. Right? Object is nothing but some resources, set of resources, right, which are required to execute certain functionality. Now a is 10. Okay, so that means the meaning of this is, the meaning of the a equal to 10 means the meaning of this is, so that operating system will assign a object. That object name is a. Okay, and in that object it will store a value 10. So the meaning of this is, the meaning of a equal to 10 is this one. The meaning of a equal to 10 is this one. So some resource is created, some memory is allotted. The name of the memory is, that location is a, because it is difficult to remember it is difficult to remember the corresponding memory location for us. That's the reason, for easy purpose, we are giving the variable name a, right? So that means the moment when you give a equal to 10, the meaning is the operating system will search the memory location wherever the free memory location is available. There the memory is allocated. In that memory 10 will be stored. Okay, so that memory location address, it won't return to us, it will keep it with operating system, and it will remember that memory location value as a name a, because since we have given the variable name as a. That is the meaning of assigning a value to the variable. Okay, so generally whenever we are storing some value in the memory location, we should remember the memory location address. But it is very difficult to remember the memory location address if the operating system really returns a memory location to us. If we give, for example, if we say operating system, you please save 50, or Python interpreter, you please save 50 in some memory location. So Python interpreter will contact operating system will assign the memory location for storing the 50, and the 50 gets stored in the memory location. The address will be returned to the Python interpreter, but if the Python interpreter returns that address to us, it is very difficult to remember that address. That's the reason we are using the alias names. That alias names are called as variables. So when you use the alias name, what happens now? So the given number will be stored in the memory location. The given number will be stored in the memory location, and the operating system will maintain some table. What is that table? Okay, so a table like this. So his value is, he has given 50. That 50 is stored in some memory location, say 0x10999 something. Okay, assume this is the memory location where our 50 is stored, and the operating system will remember operating system will remember this particular memory location as a reference called A. So this memory location 50 is stored. This memory location is remembered as a alias name called A. That is the meaning of this one. Okay. So that means this is called a object. This is called a object. Okay. Now let us come back to our this thing. So here identity operators, we have two operators. One is and is not. So let us see the program, then we'll understand the thing clearly. Yes, object is a collection of function and variable. Okay. So already PPT I have posted in the group, na? Bhupendra, you are not there, na? Okay. Okay, fine. No problem, I'll send. So now let us come back to our program. I'll open this one, identity operator. See, hope everyone able to see this program. Okay. So here I'm taking two variables. Of course, at this moment, you no need to worry about what is this. This thing we will discuss. Okay, this list. This is called list. About list, tuple, dictionary, strings, everything we will discuss. Okay, in the coming classes. But now, don't worry about that. Here, we have taken one variable called x. So in that, we are storing two strings. One is apple and another one is banana. Okay, and another variable we are taking. In that also, I'm storing two strings. That is, one is apple and another one is banana. Okay, and here I'm making z equal to x. Okay, hope it is clear, right? So now the meaning is now here I'm taking one variable, that means some location. The operating system is assigning some location. There we are storing apple and banana. Okay, this name is we are telling it is x. Okay, and another object, another variable we are taking. In that variable also I'm storing apple and banana. Okay, and this particular variable name is I'm telling it as y. Okay, so that is what we are doing here now in our program. In x we are storing apple and banana. In y we are storing apple and banana, right? And I'm making z equal to x. I'm making z equal to x. That means I am creating another variable called z, but I'm not storing anything in z. I'm telling that this z is nothing but okay, this z is nothing but this x. Okay, z is nothing but x. We don't have any separate memory location for z. Z is pointing this x only. Okay, hope it is clear now. Okay, those things I'll send, but first concentrate on this. Concentrate on the current topic, right? If you want PPTs at the end of the session, you ask, I'll send all the things, right? So that means here x and y. X is one object, y is one object, and z is also one object, but that object is pointing x only. It doesn't have any separate memory allocation. It is created to point the x. So that's the reason we have written in our code as z equal to x. Okay. Now this identity operators, what it will do? it will check whether the objects are same or not, right? So now here I'm doing print x is z, right? X is, if x is z, right? That means if x object and z object are both are same, yes or no? Yes or no? If x and z, x and z both are same objects, because it doesn't have any separate memory location, it is having same, it is pointing same memory location. Here x and y both are sharing this particular memory location only, where it was saved apple and banana, and y is having separate memory location where the same values are stored, right? So now the answer will be, what will be the answer for this? It will be true. Yes, x and z both are same objects. Okay, and similarly, now if x is y, that means x and y are both are same objects. If x and y are both are same object, no, both x is different object, y is different object. So answer will be false. False. Now here is nothing but identity operator. Is used to compare whether both the operands are same or not equal, both are same or not. Okay, here if x equal to y, what this equal to already we have seen we have seen in the last operator. So what is this? This is used to compare the values, this is used to compare whether the both the objects are same or not. This is used to compare only the value, it doesn't mind whether the object is same or different. Okay, now here in x what is there? Apple banana is there, in y also apple banana is there. So this will return definitely true. This will return true, because this will return true, because both the values are equal. This assignment this comparison operator will check only the values are true or not, but this identity operator is will check whether the objects are same or not. It won't bother about value, it will bother about only objects. Okay, similarly another operator we will see is not, identity operator. That means this is used to check whether the specified objects are same or not. Is not is used to check whether the specified objects are not same. Okay, now here print x is not y. That means we are telling that x object is not y object, whether it is true or false. There we are telling that x object and y object are not same. X is not y. Yes, correct. X is different, y is different. So the answer should be true. Answer should be true. It returns true, right? Then we are comparing whether x is not z. X is not z. Whether x is not z, x and z both are same object. Okay, so there what we are telling, x is not z, so that is false. X and z both are same object. Okay, x and z are both are same object, so this will be false. And we are comparing whether x, and this is, remember, this is not identity operator, this is comparison operator. Okay, so here we are comparing the value, whether x value is not equal to y. No, x is equal to y, so it will return false. So the answer should be true, false, true, then true, false, false. Okay, let us execute this. So true, false, true, true, false, false. Right? Any doubts here? Where defense both are same, false. Any doubts? Okay, fine. Right. I think hope understood what is difference. I mean, what is the difference between identity operator and comparison operator, right? Okay, good. Right? Okay. Any doubts till now? How x and y, x or y are different? Okay. Here we are creating variable and we are assigning some value. The moment when you are creating value and assigning creating variable, assigning the values means, so x is assigned with some memory to store these two strings. Okay, and similarly y. Of course, you may be confusing that here apple is there. Okay, orange I will keep. Right? So now here what happens? Apple and banana, one object is created. Apple and banana, one object is created. That object name is x. Orange and banana, one more object is created. That object name is y. Right? So now here, instead of in x, apple and banana, so here apple, orange and banana, orange and banana. Of course, I'll erase this. So here orange and banana. Okay, now this is x and this is y. For x, this is the memory allocated by the operating system. For y, this is the memory allocated by the operating system where the corresponding values are stored. So now here x is some memory location, some set of memory location, y is some set of memory locations. Now, how we can say both x and y are same? No. So if we make x equal to y, now after doing the x, if you make x equal to y, that means in our program, if you go to our program, so after doing this, instead of giving y equal to this, I'll give x, y equal to x. That means x object is created here, x object is created here, x object is created, and we are creating one more object called y, and y we are pointing to x only. Okay, here we are pointing, and then in the next line we are pointing z also to x only. Here x is, that means here only one set of memory locations are allocated. There apple and banana is stored. That name is called x. And next we are creating one more variable, one more object y. That object is pointing this object only. That object does not have, operating system will not give separate memory to the y object. Similarly, because we are making y equal to z, you create y object, but that object resources are x resources. And similarly, we are creating z object, that resources are x resources only. Okay. Right? Clear? Any doubts? So this is about identity operator. Now I think again it is 6 o'clock. Right? If you have any doubts, you can ask me. So we'll wind up the session. I thought today I'll start that conditional statement. I'm ready to continue, but Nimi has to give the permission.
You can continue, sir. Please go ahead. We have no scheduled classes.
Okay.
If you want to continue, you can, sir.
Okay, sir. I'll continue for so another half an hour. Right. Okay. I'll continue the class. All right. Now let us go back to PPT. Okay. So identity operator is over. Then membership operator. So membership operator. So the membership operators are used to test if a sequence is present in an object or not. Okay. So that means whether now like in C and other languages, programming languages, we have come across some arrays, all those things, right? So in that arrays, what we will store multiple values, right? So in that like array, I want to check one particular value, whether that value is there or not. For example, some fruits array, in that all the fruits are saved: apple, banana, orange, jackfruit, everything will be saved, right? So then I want to check whether some pineapple is available in that particular fruits array or not. Okay, so for that purpose, we will use this membership operators. And remember, these membership operators are very much useful in loops. Okay, in loops, we will use this membership operators. Every loop will use this. Generally, we will use for loop. Na? In for loop, we will use this membership operators only. Okay, so here in means if x is present in y, right, then it will return true. Returns true if a sequence with the specified value is present in the object, right? Not in means again it is reverse, right? Returns true if a sequence with specified value is not present in the object. Okay, so let us see the example here. I'll go here. So it is membership operators. Okay. See here. So the same last example we have taken. So I'm adding some more orange. Comma. Some kiwi. Okay. Some more grapes. Okay. So these are all the. So now x, the variable name is x. So it is a list where x is a list. List means it contains a multiple values. Of course, we will discuss all these collection variables. We will discuss in the coming classes. Total 5 collection variables are there, right? Now here, presently as of now, in x we have the values apple, banana, orange, kiwi, grapes. Okay. Now here I'm testing banana in x, whether banana is there in a list x, yes or not, yes or no. So yes, banana is there, so it will return the true. So if the specified, if you are using in is used to check the specified element is available in the given list or not. Okay, and here another thing, orange. So now orange, no, orange is there. Okay, orange not in x. I'm telling here orange is not in x, whether this is true or false. Actually orange is there in the x, right? But here we are telling orange is not in x. That means not in means orange is, this element is not there in this particular variable, but it is there, so it will return false. So the answer will be true and false. Okay, answer will be true and false. Okay, so now I will run. First of all, save it. So true, false. Okay, so that's all. With this membership operator is used to check whether the given element in the is present in the list or not. Okay. Yes. So now let us go back to program, and of course if you want, like in multiple ways you can try this. Again, go back to presentation, right? So here this is about membership operator. Membership operator is used to check whether the given element is present in the list or not. So then bitwise operators. bitwise operators. Okay, of course, these are used to do the logical operation, same logical operation what we have discussed, but bitwise, right? In some scenarios, in some real-time environments, especially when you are working embedded system side, these bitwise operators are very important. Okay, since it is there, we will see here. Of course, AND means this will perform AND operation, this will perform OR operation, and this is XOR. This symbol is NOT, and this is left shift, this is right shift. Okay, so 0 with the last left shift, sign right shift. Okay, right. So now here we will see one example, then we'll close these operators. So this is the last operator example. So here I'm taking two values, two variables x and y, right? So now since we are working with the bit operators, right? So I'm representing all those numbers in a binary value 1001 I'm taking, and another binary value I'm taking 1110, and another binary value I'm taking 1110. Okay. So here I'm doing AND operation between x and y. So if you do the AND operation, we know already what is AND. If both the inputs are 1, then only output will be 1. So it will be 1 0 means 0, 0 1 0, 0 1 is output is 0, 1 1 means output is 1. So answer will be here 1 0 0 0. Okay. So not is this symbol, right? This is bitwise. For bitwise, this is the symbol. Okay. For byte operation, you can use this one. For bitwise, this is the symbol. For doing bitwise not, this is the symbol we have to use. Okay. And remember here, if you do AND operation, right, you will get generally the processor or interpreter will give the answer in integer value, but I want to display the answer in binary value. So because I have taken the two numbers as binary now, so for verifying, I want to display the answer in binary value. So that's why I'm typecasting it to binary. Binary function is there. That function will convert the given number into a binary value. Okay. So we'll get this display 1000. And here we are doing OR operation. OR operation means 0 1. OR operation is 0 1. It is 1. Then 1 0. It is 1. Then 0 1. It is 1. Then 0 1. It is 1. 1 1. It is 1. So this will be the answer for OR operation. And XOR operation, we know the output will be 1 only if both the inputs are not equal. If both the inputs are same, the output will be 0. So here both the inputs are not equal, so it is answer will be 1. Here also not equal, one answer will be 1. Then 1. Here both the inputs are equal, answer will be 0. Right? And here not operation. This is the symbol for bitwise not. Right? Bitwise not. So now x, what is the x value? 1001. Right? So it will be converted into, that means not means opposite value. Right? So opposite value means here, of course, this I'll explain once if we execute now, I'll explain that. Okay. We'll get different answer. Right. Now x, right shift x value by 1. This is the x value. If you right shift, what happens? This 1 will be dropped, and this 100 previously 0. That last position 0 will come. So this is the answer. Okay. and then see this one, left shift Y. That means this bit gets dropped. This is the thing, right? So here 1100. Let's save. So this is the answer. Now I told this, I will explain. I got minus 1010 minus 1010. So of course here this is, I told now previously, because I always I'm going the embedded this thing only. So okay, here it will be fifth bit will be added. Every bit is shifted to the left, and the last zero will be added. 1110. Okay, right? 1110 becomes double 1110 becomes 1110. Okay, right? So now here this I will explain. This negative number we got. So not operation means what it will do? It will reverse the thing. That means positive number will be converted to negative, negative number will be converted to the positive. If it is binary, 0 to 1, 1 to 0, right? So this is minus 1010 is reverse of this 1001. How you will get means, if you do ones complement, actually ones complement. So here go back to our program. So here what is the x value? 1001, right? So that we will take into 100. X value is 1001, right? X value is 1001. Now if we not operation means, first it will do the complement. Complement means ones are converted to zeros, zeros are converted to ones, right? So this is the ones complement of given number. So then to this ones complement result, one will be added, right? So one will be added. That is, if you add one, 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 zero. So this is called 2's complement. 2's complement, right? Oh, wait, let me check somewhere some mistake was happened. What will be the answer? This is our program, no? 1 minute. Let me check the answer. So it is 1010. 1001. X value. Okay, X value we are given, no? Okay. 10100110, and 1 will be added. Got an error. Yes, it is 011. I get an error, name bit is not defined. Okay, left shift I'll explain. Okay, this I'll explain afterwards because let me check it. I have to check where this problem has come. 1 minute. Okay. So this I'll clarify this why it has come -10. I'll do some calculation and tell you in the next class. Just give me the time. So now somebody want a left shift. Explain left shift again. Left shift means this one, right? Okay. So now here actual number is y is 1110. Y is 1110 na. So where is notepad we will take? Okay. My y is equal to 1110. So if I do left shift now, what happens? 1110 and the last 0 will be added. So this will be your answer 1110. This bit is shifted to the 5th position. This bit is coming to the 5th. This bit is coming to the 4th position. This bit is coming to 3rd position. This bit is coming to 2nd position. And then again new position is there now. There 0 will be added. 0 will be added. Okay. Okay. So this will be the answer. So I think same result we got now. So we'll run it. Yes, 1110. Okay. So this, let me check it. Actually, the computer system will follow 2's complement, but some problem is coming. Difference is coming. What that difference? I'll check it. Yes. Okay. So let me check it. Right. So now this is about our bitwise operators. Right. Now this is about all the operators which are used in Python: arithmetic, assignment, comparator, comparison, logical, identity, membership, and bitwise operators. So yes, 1110. Correct. 1110. So all the bits are shifted 1 bit to the left, and the last position 0 will be added. Right. Okay. And if you have doubts on this Python operators, you can just message me. I'll clarify in the next class. 1001 9 plus 1 10. Okay. Okay. Right. So now the conditional statements, Python conditional statements. Okay, Python conditional statements. So here in Python we have what is the use of these conditional statements, and these are very important. So these statements are used to take a decision on the basis of some conditions. Now, for example, some scenario is there. Now, when switch is on, I want to turn on the light. When switch is off, I want to turn off the light. So that means this is one kind of condition. That means we are going to take the decision. Here the decision is whether we are going to turn on or turn off the light. That depends upon the switch status. If the switch is on, we will turn on the light. If the switch is off, we will turn off the light. Okay. So first we need to check the status of the switch. Based on that, we have to take the decision so that the light can be turned on or off. Right? To check those kind of statements, we will use yes, decisional making statements. Okay. So we will use this conditional statement or decision making statements. Okay. And let us see how to write this decision making statements in Python. Okay. So first let us discuss about, here we have if else, nested if, elif. Okay. So I'll open our first program. Okay. So here I'm taking one input from the console. Now always, till now always we have declared the variables in our program and we have tested. So now for this particular program we will try differently. Okay, we'll take the value from A value and B value from console. When the program is executing, the interpreter will ask enter value of A, enter value of B. So whatever the value you are entering, that value I'm storing in a variable called A. Okay. Similarly, enter value of B. I'm taking another value, that value I'm taking in, storing in B. So first, whatever the value I'm entering first, that will be stored in A, and second value will be stored in B. Right? Now, I want to compare both the values. I want to compare both the values. Okay. What is that? Deepthi, please. Any doubt? It is use decision making. Okay. So if A greater than B, right? If the first value is greater than B, what I am doing is, and remember here, to write the if statement in Python, you have to write if, then give the space, right? Then write the condition, After that, put colon. Generally in C language, in C or in Java, what we'll write? In C or Java, we will write like this. Like if statement is if condition A greater than B, then we will open flower bracket, close flower bracket. Here we will write number of statements. Okay. So this is the way to write if statement in C language, Java, or most of the JavaScript, that is most of the programming languages. But remember here, we won't use these flower brackets and these square brackets much here in Python. Okay, for writing the if statement, we don't use any bracket. Just write if, give the space, then write the condition, then colon. Okay, after putting colon, if you press enter, the cursor will come here. That means here you will get 4 spaces. You will get 4 spaces. Okay, so 4 spaces. That means this is called indenting. This is called indenting in Python. This is called indenting in Python. Indenting means, now after colon, if you press enter, it will take 4 spaces automatically. So whatever the statements which are written after 4 spaces, now here this statement is written after 4 spaces, this statement is written after 4 spaces. Okay, so now here the 2 lines are written. That means these 2 lines comes under this if statement. Okay, after some statement, if we are giving indenting means 4 spaces, and if we are writing some code, that code belongs to the corresponding statement which is provided before this indenting. Okay, so now here this 2 statement, if you take in another programming language, if you take in C or Java, see here we are giving if condition, and we are opening the flower bracket, opening and closing. So whatever the statements which are written in these flower brackets, those statements are considered for this particular if block. Okay, but here we are not using, in Python we are not using any flower brackets, any brackets, we are not using any brackets. So that's the reason. So we have to maintain the code block of code, right? Block of code which comes under this particular if statement with the corresponding indenting means 4 spaces we have to give. So either you can manually give, or if you after colon, if you press enter, directly it will take you to 4 spaces automatically. Okay, so if A is greater than B, now I have entered the value of A and value of B. If A is greater than B, okay, then it will come here. If this condition is satisfied, that means if this condition is true, then only this block of codes will be executed, right? Whenever along with if we are since we are mentioning one condition now, if the specified condition is true, then only the block of code which is mentioned under the if will be executed. Okay, so now for example, let us enter 10 and B equal to 5. So A greater than 5. So then this will be printed. So what we are doing here, A bracket, we are printing the value of A is greater than B, and in bracket we are printing the value of B. So first we are printing the A value, then second we are printing the B. So what we are doing, if A value is greater than B, if this condition is satisfied, the interpreter will execute this block of codes. Okay, so in that case what we are doing, A is greater than B. Okay, and we are writing one more print statement. This print statement is from if block, if statement. This is from if statement. Okay, and here see here, we are writing another print here. This print does not belongs to this if statement. Why it doesn't belongs to if statement? Because there is no indenting here. So if it is here, then this also will comes under if block, but we are not giving any indenting for this particular print. That means this doesn't comes under this if block. That means this statement is always executed irrespective of whether the A is greater than a B or not. So this block of code will be executed if A value is greater than B, right? But this print statement will be executed always irrespective of this particular condition. Okay, hope it is clear. Any doubt? Voice nahi aa raha hai? No, voice is clear, na? Right. Now let us execute this. Save and execute. So see, it is asking. Now we are not given any values there in the program. We are telling the program to take the values from console runtime. So I'm giving here 30. A value is 30, and the B value I'm giving 20. Okay. Now whether the condition is satisfied or not, A is greater than B or not. Yes, A is greater than B. Then the code which is written in the if block will be executed, right? So A 30 is greater than B, right? This is from if statement, and the third print statement will be executed always irrespective of the if condition. Okay, now again I will execute. Okay, I'll close it. Again I will execute the program. This time I will give A value less than B value. Now what might be the output? So here A greater than B condition in if statement, A greater than B condition is there. Here 10 is not greater than 20. So that condition is not satisfied. When if condition is not satisfied, whatever the code which is mentioned in the if block won't be executed, right? Won't be executed. So the answer is only the last print statement will be executed. So only that will be printed. This is out of if statement. Okay, understood? why we are use a 0 or 1. So that is what we have discussed now in print. In a print function, so here if we use the flower bracket, that means we are going to print some value. Okay, so we are going to print some value, but here we are going to print two values now. This is one value and this is second value, right? And in the format function we have to mention the two variables, because since we have told that we are going to print two values, so what are the two variable names we have to mention? So here I'm going to print a in bracket means, that means a value I should print now, so that's the reason I'm giving a. So here I want to print b value now, so that's the reason I'm giving b here. Okay, so now here we are telling that, okay, here you print value which is mentioned first in the format function. First means a, 1 means always the indexing will start from 0. This is 0 index, this is 1 index. So we are telling that we have to print b here, but here two variables are mentioned now. So which is b? Second variable now. So second variable index is 1. That's why we are mentioning 1 here. This one we are mentioning 0 here. Okay, is it clear? Okay, so this is if statement. Okay, so that means if this condition is satisfied, then only the block of statements which are mentioned in the if statement will be executed. Otherwise it won't be executed. Simply it will come to the next line of the program. Okay, any doubts here? Okay, if this condition is not satisfied, I want to print something else, right? So for that we have another statement called if else, right? If this condition is not satisfied, we will write another block, so that will print the another block of statements. So that is what your if else. So the if already we have discussed. Okay, then we got if else. So let us see if else. So I'll go here, I'll open next program. If else. See here, same I'm doing. I'm taking the value, both the values from console. I'm storing in A as well as B. Okay, so if A is less than B, and remember here in Python we should not use any brackets for writing the if statement. Give the if, give the space, then condition, colon is compulsory here. Colon means the block of code is going to start. After colon, if you press enter, it will give indenting automatically. The cursor will blink after 4 spaces automatically. So here print, if A value is less than B, what we are doing? A is less than B we are printing. Okay, if this condition is not satisfied, if this condition is not satisfied, so what does it mean? A is not less than B means B is less than A. A is not less than B means B is less than A, na? B is less than or equal to A. B is less than or equal to A. Okay, so here see else statement. That means whatever the, again after else we have to give the colon, then if you press enter you will get 4 spaces automatically, then there you can write whatever the statements you want to write. Okay, so if this condition is satisfied, this block of statements, whatever the block of statements mentioned in the if will be executed. If this condition is not satisfied, if block won't be executed, only else block will be executed. Okay, right? So if the specified condition is satisfied, then if block will be executed. The specified condition is not satisfied, then else block will be executed. That's all. And if condition is false, then else statement will execute. Correct. Okay. So we will save it and we will run. Okay. Enter A value. So A value I'm entering 10, B value I'm entering 20. A is less than B. Sorry. Not share the screen. No? So A value I entered 10, B value I entered 20. So answer I'm getting is A value is less than B. Okay. And similarly, okay, I'll execute it once again. I'll execute the program once again. Okay. So then run. Then run. Enter the value of A. I'm entering A value as 20, B value as 10. Okay. So B is less than or equal to 10. B is less than or equal to A. Okay. So any doubt here? Okay. Hope it is clear, everyone. Okay, then if you have any doubts, you can ask. The remaining things will continue in the next class, because at 7:20 I'm having another class. So next class tomorrow 4 to 5. Next class tomorrow 4 to 5. Yeah, whatever the doubts are there, you just post it.
So I guess you're done, sir.
Yes, sir. Let me see any doubts are there. If anyone is raising hand, I think no doubts. Okay, Pooja Paliwal, in operator, you have some doubts, huh? Okay, what is your doubt? No, already tomorrow and day after tomorrow it is 4 to 5. Already it was scheduled. It is confirmed by the NIMI. Why any problem if it is 4 to 5? Python language print a compilation. Narendra, I not understood your question. So Pooja, you want me to repeat in operator? Huh? Okay. So I'll open membership operator. Okay. See here, Pooja, actually this in operator is used to check whether the given element is present in the list or not. Here I have taken one list called X, name of the list is X. So there I am having multiple values, 5 values: apple, banana, orange, kiwi, grapes. Okay. So then now I want to check whether banana is available in this list or not. So for that we need to use the in function. Okay. So how you have to mention banana in X? If really banana present in X, this in function will in operator will check whether the given element is present in the X or not. Okay, if it is present, it will return the true. If it is not present, it will return false. So as per this given list, so this banana is present in the X list. Okay, it will return true. Okay, so then we will print true here. right? Similarly, like in, we have the not in operator also. Two membership operators are there. One is in and other one is not in. So not, what in will do, it will check whether the given element is present in the given list or not. So not in will check whether the given element is not present in the list or not. Okay, so here orange, I'm giving orange not in X, right? So orange is not in X. So if you see the list, orange is there here, but here I'm telling orange is not in X. So the statement is false now, so it will return the false. So this will return true, right? Is it clear, Pooja? Okay. Sorry, I forgot. I'll speak from next class onwards. Is operator also you want? Okay. Manish, tell me what is your question? So is operator I will return. Where is? Okay, see Pooja here. In X, I'm taking apple and banana. In Y, I'm taking orange and banana. Okay. So here X is one object, Y is one object. At Z, I'm taking another object, but that object I'm not giving anything. Same X only I'm using. Whatever is there in X, that only I'm using. So this X and Z both are same. So what this is operator will do is, this is operator will check whether X is Z. That means X object and Z object both are same or not, it will check. If it is same, it will return true. Okay. If it is not same, it will return false. So here, whether X and Z are same or not. So because we are giving Z equal to X, that means we have created Z object, but we are not giving any a processor or operating system is not giving any resources for this Z. It is telling Z to use X resources only. That means X and Z both are using same resources, so that X and Z both are same. So objects, we can tell both objects are same if they use same resources. So here X and Z both are using same resources. So here when we are trying to print X is Z means, okay, X is Z, correct. X and Z are using both same resources. That will be printed here. Okay, then print X is Y, right? That means here what we are testing, whether X and Y are same objects. No, X is having different memory allocation to store this apple and banana, and Y is having different memory allocation to store this orange and banana. Okay, so both X and Y are different objects. So this condition is false. So it will return false. So this will true and this is false. And here we are testing, we are comparing here. This is not identity operator. This is comparative operator, what we have discussed, right? So we are testing, here we are testing the value of X and Y. Value of X and value of Y. We are not testing whether the objects are same or not. If you mention is, that will check whether the objects are same or not. If you use equal, it will test only the value. It doesn't mind about the objects, whether the same resources it is using or different resources it is using. And similarly, when is there, is used to check if both the objects are same or not. Is not is another operator, another identity operator, which is used to check whether both the values are, both the X and Y both are different objects or not. Here, if you want to check whether both the objects are same or not, you can use is. If you want to check whether both the objects are different, then you have to use is not. Okay. So yes, X is not Y. Yes, X and Y are different objects. So it will return true. Here, X is not Z, we are telling. That means X and Z both are different objects if you are telling, but here X and Z are both are same objects, so it will return false. Now again here this is comparative operator. Of course here this is not required in this particular example, this identity operators, just to tell the difference between is and this comparative, that identity and comparative operator, I have used these two statements. Okay, now here hope it is clear. This is true false, then true false. If you execute now, true false, true false, right? Is it clear, Pooja? मनीष सर एल स्टेटमेंट में फॉर्मेट डॉट फॉर्मेट ए बी का सीक्वेंस चेंज करके भी प्रिंट कर सकता है? यस कर सकता. अभी फॉर एग्जांपल देखो एलसीफ में चाहिए तो ओके मैं शेयर दिस प्रोग्राम. ओके अब ये सीक्वेंस चेंज करना. ओके सो ओके नाउ हियर आई एम पुटिंग बी, हियर आई एम पुटिंग ए. अभी क्या करना, इधर ए ब्रैकेट में ए वैल्यू प्रिंट करना है ना. सो ए वैल्यू प्रिंट करने के लिए ए किधर है, फर्स्ट ऑपरेटर, फर्स्ट वेरिएबल और सेकंड वेरिएबल. सेकंड वेरिएबल इसका इंडेक्स क्या है 1. सो इधर आप 1 मेंशन करना. अभी बी इज, सो बी किधर है, फर्स्ट वेरिएबल. फर्स्ट वेरिएबल मींस इसका इंडेक्स इज 0. ओके सो इधर बी वैल्यू प्रिंट करना. बी वैल्यू बोलो तो इंडेक्स क्या है अभी फॉर ओके आई कीप लाइक दिस ओनली. अभी इधर बी वैल्यू प्रिंट करना. बी वैल्यू बी वेरिएबल किधर रख दिया, इधर रख दिया. ओके इसका इंडेक्स क्या है 1. इधर ये वैल्यू प्रिंट करना. ये वैल्यू किधर रख दिया, फर्स्ट रख दिया, इसका इंडेक्स 0. ओके अब कैसा दे दिया फॉर्मेट फंक्शन में वेरिएबल्स का ऑर्डर, ऐसा इंडेक्स करस्पॉन्डिंग इंडेक्स नंबर देना पड़ेगा. टेन 20. Okay, A is less than B. और कुछ डाउट्स? मनीष क्लियर हो गया? क्लियर हो गया मनीष? Okay. So any other doubts? Okay. So now we'll wind up the session. Tomorrow we'll meet at 4 to 5. Okay. Okay. Thank you.